Hello and welcome to Then, Now and the Next Game here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. I am your host Scott Carney, and before I introduce the team, I'd like to tell you about a raffle we are running to raise money for MND Scotland. So we are aiming to raise £555 for MND Scotland. By making only a £1 donation via our Facebook page, you will be entered into a raffle to have a chance of winning a fantastic frame print artwork of Fernando Ricksen by Art by Paul Hunter and a copy of the book Fernando Ricksen, The Final Battle, that was kindly donated by William Scott from the Bristol Bar. If you can please head over to the Club at 22 Rangers podcast Facebook page, go to the pinned post at the top of the page where full details will be there on how to enter. I will also leave a link in the description of this pod and it will take you to the page. There's also a picture there that you can see the print. So thank you all to have donated so far, and thank you to the fans if you're planning on donating. It really means a lot to me and a lot to us here at Club at 22. Let's help fight the battle against MND. Thank you. So, without further ado, let me introduce the Blue Noses eagerly waiting in the wings. First off, it's Ali Pearson.
How we doing, lads? It's another long sort of week before the start of the game. Next week we hope to jump into the midweek games, which will be good to keep us going. But good to be here again.
What you been doing, mate? Just walking?
I'm going to bring out actually a book of walks to Glasgow after this. I'm going to start my job and bring that out. I think I can tell the quickest route to walk to about every pub in Glasgow now.
It's a shame you can't stop in but for a pint, innit?
I know, I got a coffee today. That's as exciting as it gets.
And Scott Gemmell, how's it going, mate?
Hi, good afternoon, guys.
How's things, mate? You're a bit like me. There is no furlough for you, isn't there? No, it's just work.
Just work, yeah, but I'm making the most of the snow at the minute and going out and playing like I'm a wee kid again, building snowmen and whatnot. So
yeah, I'm 32 years of age, mate, and it took me about 2 hours to perfect my snowman last night. I was like,
snowman, to be fair, I'll give you that.
It was quite good. I was quite chuffed with it, to be honest. Jack Frost, I named him obviously. So no, it took me a bit of time. I took my time with it. I usually get fed up with it, but you've got nothing to rush for. Do you know what I mean? So the missus was still working, so there was no rush for me to get the dinner or that on. So I thought I'm going outside with the dog. I say I've got a bulldog, and she lasted maybe about 60 seconds outside if you're lucky, and then went back in, and it was just me out in the garden. And I was like, if anybody actually could see me right now, I'm a 32-year-old man building the store. But I had a great time. I really enjoyed it. It was good fun, good way to pass the time. But anyway, enough of us building snowmen and talking about work and everyday life. We are here to talk about Rangers, of course. Obviously, this show is a kind of weekly roundup of all things Rangers, and we will finish up with previewing our next game, which is against Kilmarnock at Ibrox on Saturday. But there is, however, only one place to start, unfortunately, and it's with then, and it's the game on Sunday, where Rangers put in arguably the worst performance of the league campaign so far, with a 1-1 draw to Hamilton. So sorry to make you go back to this, lads. We, of course, did a play-by-play immediate match reaction to the game on Sunday, so you can go back and check that out if you want to suffer more. But, Alex, a few days on from the result, you feeling any better about it?
It was a tough one, to be honest. It's probably the worst result this season, and I'll take that over the St Mirren game in the League Cup, which were disaster as well. This was a bad one for me. I mean, I texted you on Monday. I was still raging on Monday when I woke up. I was actually fizzing, and it ruins your weekend. It ruins your day. I really wish we had a midweek game to get it out of the system. We've got this long wait of a week to wait, and to be honest, I've been on my walks this week. I've listened to pretty much every other Rangers podcast, and we're all singing off the same hymn sheet every single podcast. So we're all saying the same stuff. But no, I'm over it now. It's Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. I'm ready for Saturday. I just hope they give the performance that I'm expecting.
You would like to think so, mate. I was the same. It probably took me about halfway through Monday until I started to not think about it as much, because I just kept having me flashbacks of why did we do that, and why did we play like that, and all the things that come back to you after a poor result. I mean, a few people had messaged me and said it's not a disaster. I did say it was a disaster on the pod, but I was talking about the way we played, not in terms of our season, of course. I'm at no point am I panicking yet. I don't think we're at that stage. And this was always going to come, one of these sticky performances, one change too many probably in the team, and it just interrupted the way we were playing football, really, and led to just a poor game. Scott, you feeling any better after it?
Not really. Still disappointed in the result. I mean, it's not ruined my week, but yeah, still disappointed with it. I listened back to us because obviously we done the immediate match reaction, and sometimes you can be a bit rash, be a wee bit harsher than you actually when you sit back and rewatch the game. I've not forced myself to rewatch the game. I've just watched the highlights. But I think everything that I was feeling at the end of the match on Sunday is true today as well. I don't think we were overreactionary in our assessment of the performance. And it just we kind of want it to be a kick up the arse to kind of just soldier on through the season and win with minimum fuss.
As I say, I mean, I totally agree. As I say, I'm over it, and the fact that the rage is gone, the disappointment for the performance is definitely still there. And as I say, we think we're putting this wee bit of scar tissue to bed that we have in our head. We think we're finally healing that, and then a performance like that happens, and all of a sudden it comes rushing to the front of your head again, and it's difficult because we're so desperate for this to happen, and we want it to happen. I want to win by 30 points. I don't want to win by 3 or whatever. And, it's just one of those games. It's always going to happen. And
we're so close. That's the problem. The problem is we're so close that we can touch it. We can actually touch this title. And I think most Rangers fans, we can accept getting beat off a team if they're better and Rangers go out there and give a performance. But see, if Rangers don't go out and give a performance, I can't accept that. And I stand by it. I honestly think Rangers turned up there thinking, we're playing Harlan, bottom of the league. They get beat off Ross County the week before. We'll stroll this and win it. And I'm sorry, you can't turn up and with that kind of attitude. I think it was an attitude problem and slightly personnel. I mean, looking at the team sheet at the beginning, we all went, that should be enough to beat Harlan, and it should have. But I just think we touched on it, the previous one, you can't leave Jack and Davis out of that team because when you look at Kamara, Zungu, and Aribo in the midfield three, they're nice players. There's nobody in that three that's going to really get a game by the scruff of the neck and dictate. None of them would do it. But that's what I was more disappointed with. It was the attitude.
Yeah. Again, mate, nothing I can disagree with there. And we do a lot of that on here. We tend to all have this kind of same views, but I've got to say that I do agree with you. It was just wrong. Everything about it was just wrong. The balance of the team, everything. It didn't sit well at all. Gerrard actually on the match said that he left too many big characters out. Said that he can't play Jack and Davis every game. But as you've just said, Ali, if one of them's fit enough to play, one of them has to play. We can't hope that we limp towards this title. It has to get done and dusted. And I don't want to sacrifice Europe, but if I had to, then I would 100%. I would play a bunch of youth teams in Europe, a youth team, a bunch of youth players in Europe. I'm not bothered. I really couldn't care less. Obviously, when Europe comes round, I want to do as well as we can, but the league come first. But the best post-match interview had to come from Alan McGregor, who summed up the day absolutely perfectly and did not beat around the bush. Scotia, rubbish.
Yeah, I mean, we unfortunately, because we recorded right after the final whistle, we didn't get to hear what he'd said. But when I came off with doing that and listening to it, I was like, aye, that's exactly how I'm feeling. And the stuff he was saying about, no, I'd rather have an absolutely rotten game myself, as long as we win. Which it's the way it should be. It's the way I remember it being. And other players just need to take that on board. That's how you win titles. Ugly. Yeah. At times.
So he gets it though, mate. Done it. It's in the heart for him. It's in the head for him. He's been here and he's done this before. So he's like, I've heard so many other podcasters saying it. I'm the same. I've listened to quite a few, but God help them in that dressing room after that. Well, McGregor going back in there, he would have went fucking mental. And too right, he should have. Do you know what I mean? He really should have. I wouldn't want to be standing in Alan McGregor's way that day or sitting on his seat on the bus when you're going back down the road. No, not a chance. But yeah, he was absolutely brilliant. He just summed up everything. He's standing there saying how we're all feeling. It's not good enough. It's rubbish. They shouldn't be thinking about us winning the league. They should be thinking about the next game. They should be thinking about this game. Only one game at a time, etc., etc. He was just fantastic. He was actually close. In fact, whoever was asking him a question was going to ask him one more question. He was close to putting a nut on him, I think. He was getting wound up. But yeah, we'll put that to bed, that game. We'll hopefully be back with a bit more of a positive immediate match reaction on Saturday. So we'll move on to the now. So Rangers today actually announced a club partnership with Hamburg SV, the Bundesliga club. Very staunch. I'm very happy about this. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Put a right smile on my face today. So a press release today said a long-term friendship becomes official. After years of close ties between the two sets of fans, Hamburg FC and Rangers Football Club have now entered into a wide-ranging official partnership that binds the two clubs closer together heading into the future. With HSV fans heading over in large numbers to Ibrox and Rangers fans visiting the Volkspark Stadion every year, the next natural step was a club partnership between the two Bundesliga and Scottish Premiership sides. As the friendship was initiated by the fans as far back as the 70s, the HSV and Rangers supporters are at the heart of the agreement, with a number of initiatives planned to cultivate the relationship, including offers at Volkspark Stadion and Ibrox to welcome visiting fans. So, Ali, I'll come to you first. This can only really be a good thing for the club and kind of shows that we're back on the European map.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, every time we go to Ibrox, a lot of weeks to be honest, you see a lot of their fans coming across. I mean, we've been in the pubs down Paisley Road quite a lot, and a lot of their fans will come in, watch the game. Vice versa, a lot of boys our side will go across to Germany. Sort of far on a plane, it's pretty cheap to get there now. They'll go across, watch a game as well, and they'll be welcome. So, no, it's good to see. Rangers have got a couple of partnerships with teams. They've got a partnership with Bengaluru, I think it is, in India.
And
they've actually started showing their games. You'll notice live on Facebook. They've also got the one with Orange County out in America as well. So, no, they've got a lot of partnerships, but that one makes sense because there is an unofficial relationship for years with the two clubs. So it makes sense to make it an official partnership now. And no, it gives us a wee excuse to go to Germany maybe when all this just sort of calmed down a wee bit.
Yeah, that was probably one of the first things that crossed my mind, mate. Was for a trip to Hamburg. Definitely, I think it opens up a number of things. Before I jump into my bit, Scott, what's your thoughts on this?
Right, it's good. I think it's really good. Getting it kind of officialised. Because I mean, obviously, the first time I realised about it was for our mutual love and appreciation of Big Albert's. A legend at both the clubs, really. So yeah, you always used to see like the Hamburg flag kicking about the stadiums most games. Quite a lot of the European games we played. I mean, obviously Hamburg themselves, they were kind of yo-yoing up and down between the Bundesliga and their equivalent of the Championship. I don't know what that's called in German, but yeah. So I know they were kind of, they've had their own kind of worries in league football, but I think it's good and just officiates all that.
Yeah,
I think it is. David Bates not go there? Sorry, did David Bates not go there?
I did. I think he was with them when they got relegated, though, and then he left, I'm sure. But yeah, he did go there. But that's what I mean, even with players, ex-players and stuff, and it opens up loan opportunities. I mean, Hamburg are a decent team. They're probably, at their best, they're probably mid to kind of top half of the Bundesliga, really, when they're absolutely at their best. And it opens up loan opportunities for us. We're official partners with them. Be good if they would like some of our youngsters, for whatever reason, to be able to send them to them. And I think it does just tie together a partnership that's been there for ages. I've always liked them. I've always liked looking out for them and stuff. And when Bates went there, I was like, it's probably good for him. And as you said, the ties with Alberts. And yeah, I just think it's a really good thing. And they're a big club. And yeah, I mean, I met you two clowns in Germany, really, when we were on a stag do.
You met Scotia for a wee bit of it.
That's true. Yeah, I met Scotia for a wee bit. We were on a stag do for our mutual friends, wee Dick Mahal's stag do. I spent pretty much every hour of it with you, Ali. Scotia spent every hour with Germans and not with us. He was on his own tour of Germany, so I got a wee insight into the man, the myth, the legend that is Scotia. But yeah, I just immediately thought, what a trip that would be if we can all manage to do that once everything's back opened up and we can get back out to Germany. It's always somewhere I've wanted to go. And yeah, I'm really happy about it. And the first thing I did as soon as I seen it was try to buy a Hamburg top, but quite expensive. There was £75 for their new top just now. I was like, that's a bit much. Might do one of them retro ones, see if I can find one of them. But yeah, no, brilliant by Rangers. Really interesting to see what that brings. So we'll move on. So the Scottish Cup looks like it's probably not going to happen now this season anyway. The lower leagues and women's football is put on hold until further notice. I don't think any of us were really shocked by this, to be honest. Scott, I'll come to you first. Is the Scottish Cup really a priority for us this season?
Not for Rangers, I don't think. I think there's other sort of wider issues in Scottish football that should be a priority that I can get into. But yeah, I mean, what they came out and said that the 1st of March will be the decision they'll make whether to resume the leagues. So you're looking a week or so down the line before they actually get back up and running. There's still 12 second round games to get played. Then you've got all the 16 third round games, and then obviously the quarterfinals and etc. and whatnot. So I think there's still 6 groups of games still to get played. And the fixture list is not looking kind. I've seen the Livy Hamilton games off the night because of the snow. There's been a few fixtures in the Premiership and Championship put off because of the weather recently that'll need to get fit in. Yeah, I can't see how we're going to fit it in. I was kind of looking at where we could fit it in. Now, if we get through against Antwerp, we've not got a free week until April that we can fit that game in, because you've got the international breaks and stuff on as well. So a lot of our players will be away in international duty. You might be able to squeeze in the games for the lower league teams during the international break because none of them are away. But yeah, the big issue around it I can see in terms of Scottish football is the winner of the Cup is potentially guaranteed European group football next season. Yeah. Because the winner, providing it's not a team already qualified for Europe, goes into the playoff of the Europa League. And if they lose that, they're automatically dropping into the Conference League. So you look at St Johnstone and Livingston in the League Cup final. There's nothing to say that the 2 teams similar to that could get into the final of the Scottish Cup, and that's a chance for them to play in Europe. Good wee bit of money coming in, good experience for them. So I'm surprised there's not been kind of more mutterings from other teams about that, because Hearts obviously suffered last season when they would have got into Europe if they'd been played beforehand. Yeah. So yeah, I'm surprised that other teams are not kind of making a bit of noise about that, because that's quite a big financial incentive for them.
Yeah, and again, mate, well done for taking off the blue-tinted glasses there, mate, because it's thinking outside the box and in the bigger picture, of course, with Scottish football, and you're spot on, mate. Like, it's unfortunate for other teams. I don't know if it's really... Again, it's not my priority. I know I'll keep saying it because it's the league's priority. I don't think Rangers and Celtic really need it. Well, Celtic might need it, to be honest, to try and win something. But, yeah, I'm not too fussed by it. Ali, what's your thoughts on this?
For me personally and Rangers, if they scrap the Scottish Cup this year, I don't think we would be bothered. Scotia's right with these other teams. Obviously, it's money for these other teams. You've got contractual situations. I think it's bloody Premier Sports that have got the cup games, so they'll want it played in terms of money as well. The only thing I could think of they could possibly do is, I mean, there's the weekends earmarked for the cup competitions at the moment. The only thing I could think of is what they've done for I think it's the Dundee United game we're playing. That weekend's supposed to be Scottish Cup, I think, maybe. They could bring the games, the league games I'm talking, forward and maybe have a round robin competition over, say, 2-3 weeks, possibly at the very end of the season. Or if not, maybe drag it into next season, as they did with the one this season.
Yeah,
so
that's what I mean.
Around it.
We're also getting to the point, though, where we're just going to continuously to have this knock-on effect as we go on and on and on. There's obviously players within the Scottish League that are going to be going to the Euros as well, and they are going to need their prep time for that. And the Euros will happen by hook or by crook. I'm pretty sure UEFA is going to make it happen. So they will go ahead, and nothing will really be put into to jeopardise that. But yeah, I mean, I suppose doing a wee round robin or whatever at the end might be the only thing. But again, with the fixture backup and the build up, and I mean, for us, it does help us concentrate on the 2 competitions that are what I have to say, most well, the league's obviously the most worthy, but probably more cash incentive, if you like. I mean, the Scottish Cup can't compete with what we make in Europe, so yeah, as I say, it's going to be one to watch, but I probably don't see. They probably will make it happen just due to because the SFA will not want to pay Premier Sports, as you said, so they will one way or another make it happen. But in what way that will look and what form it will take, I'm really not sure. And I hope they don't drag it on into next season. I just want next season to start and just be a season of football. Do you know what I mean? Not thinking about sorry, what Scottish Cup stat you've won? So that's 2018. Not just get on with football. Just a normal league. Let's just play football. Anyway, so we'll move on to kind of last talking point. I kind of delayed it to the end of this because I was hoping it might break while we were on recording this, but it hasn't. So right as of now, we have no further news on Kemar Roofe. Gerrard confirmed on Sunday after the game that Rangers would be appealing the two-match ban offered to Roofe for the tackle he was booked for against St Johnstone. So this was obviously meant to happen yesterday. It got moved so they could hear a Jetties, is what I've heard. A Jetties was heard yesterday, so he could be cleared for diving, so he could play in Celtic's game tonight. Now, first off, he got booked, right? So if he's been booked, how can it possibly be took down by the compliance officer? That's my first one, and I don't want to go on because we could end up here for about an hour here talking about this because it drives me mental. Second of all, I'm a wee bit shocked that Rangers are appealing it. To be honest, to be completely honest, I think I'm a wee bit shocked because once I'd seen it back, I know initially when I said after the match reaction pod that we did, I thought it looked a bit like a booking. Once I've seen it a few times, it's a horrible tackle. It's really not a nice tackle at all. But again, I don't think there's intent there. Maybe that's the only thing that Rangers have appealed it on is the fact that it's not intent. But no intent or not, he's endangered an opponent with the way they tackled him. So, yeah, I don't agree with the fact that he's even been offered a two-match ban. He wasn't very happy with his Instagram post that he had. But I mean, Ali, what's your thoughts? Do you think Rangers have done the right thing here?
Yeah, I think they're trying to make a point in terms of how this all works. I mean, there's that loophole, a loophole which we never all really knew about until I think it was the Morelos get done. I mean, you can all say it was a red card. It was because the referee didn't see the severity of it. And this is the same case with this one. He's booked him what he thought he saw. He didn't see what you now see after. I mean, it's still no red card, but he doesn't mean it, Kemar Roofe. That's the way he plays football. He tries to get his body in front of the guy, protect the ball. That's the way he plays. Everyone that I've really talked about that, Red, has said he didn't mean it. That's what he was trying to do. So I think Rangers are taking it there to make a point because, I mean, you just drag it back to the Curtis Main one. He's went to go and do Barisic. I mean, he's went to deliberately do him and nothing. So you can pick, there's umpteen of them, you can pick out the guy that put the hole in Morelos' leg. Again, he probably didn't mean it like Roofe, but again, that should have been brought up. So they seem to pick and choose when they want to do it. The Celtic one, wasn't surprised that they'd won that. I mean, Ajeti, he's dived. Neil Lennon says there was contact in that one. I know we're not talking about that one. The keeper touches him, but I mean, it's a very slight touch. But
there's no way he touches him that much to do the weight. There's no chance of that. I mean, he slightly touches him and he goes absolutely flying. It's a dive. Anyway, sorry mate, carry on.
Yeah, no, he's conned a penalty, but I knew they would win that, to be honest. So, but in terms of the Roofe one, I don't think we'll win it. I think we're doing it out of principle. I think Rangers will go in there. They'll pull up the certain different other points. The Curtis Main is one I would be pulling up straight away, because he's deliberately went to do a guy. Kemar Roofe has not deliberately went to do a guy. So to me, the main one's worse. Tell me how he hasn't get cited. So yeah, I think it's quite selective the way they do it. You look at the stats, we seem to be in the end of it constantly. We don't want to sound like the other side of the city where the world's against us, but when you look at the stats don't lie sometimes, they say it, and it's quite shocking the way it is. And yeah, to me, yeah, it's a red card all day long, but there's no intent in it to me. He didn't mean to do it. He's caught the guy bad. Yeah, that's what I think. Why Rangers do it.
Yeah, and again, I know it doesn't work in. You don't go if you're in court for murder. You don't go in and go, "I but he murdered and he murdered and he murdered and he got away with it." It doesn't work like that. I get that, but Rangers have to be pressing the point here. I don't want to keep using the word, but consistency, as you said, the Curtis Main one, the hole when Alfredo Morelos's leg. How is that not endangering an opponent? It's just it's ridiculous, and it is. It's selective, and it creates headlines, mate. And that's what it's all about. They're trying to put pressure on us in any way that they can right now because Celtic are flapping at anything that they can to try and make this some sort of a league to try and knock us off our stride to try and get back into it when they know that their world is about to come tumbling down. So, Scotia, your thoughts on the Kemar Roofe incident and the shenanigans after it?
So the incident at first, I think after the match we'd said probably worse than a yellow, but not quite a red. I would reevaluate my opinion now. Haven't seen it an awful lot more. I think Rangers must have a thought in their head that they've got some chance or a case when it comes down to this. And I think what they'll go down on is, the referee's booked him, and obviously, as Ali says, there's that wee loophole if he's not seen the whole severity of the incident. But then the question really needs to get raised is, why is the referee not seen that? He gave a yellow card for something that he thought had happened, but actually it was worse than I thought. So therefore, there's a question to be asked about, refereeing standards. They need to be brought up, improved. For the last, God knows how long, we've seemed to every couple of seasons change how we go about this process. I think it first started with the 3-man judge, then the compliance officer came in, then it was the compliance officer with the 3 anonymous referees. Obviously VAR's never really going to happen in Scotland because we've not got the finances. Only, ourselves and Celtic and maybe, Aberdeen, Hibs are the only ones that could really afford that, and no one else can. So VAR's not going to happen anytime soon. So I think Rangers are going into it thinking they've got a chance to win it. I don't think we will, to be honest. We'll probably pop up anytime soon. But I think they just need to kind of reiterate the point that, if the referee's not seen that clearly, the question needs to be asked, why is he not seen that clearly? Because to me, he seemed to have a decent enough angle on it. And there's another 3 people on the sidelines that are officiating the match as well. So, I think Rangers are just bringing it up to ram down the point that we need to do better. But how do we do better?
How do we do better? You're right, mate, and I agree with you on the whole. This takes away from the major problem in Scottish football, and it's the refereeing. The standard of refereeing's a joke. We all know it. There's many you can name that are just not fit for their job, and again, a lot of these refs are part time and they work, and as well as doing these as well as doing refereeing, they've got their jobs to go in. I don't think they really have got the time for the kind of extra training and that they need. In terms of VAR going, I don't think, obviously we don't have the finances for it. I don't think it will ever happen in Scottish football because the SFA just won't put the money forward for it to happen. But there must be something else that we can do. If we're going to go down this compliance officer thing needs to go, in my opinion, because it doesn't work. It's just fault. It's like so many faults throughout it.
It's trial by sports scene.
It is trial by sports scene, mate. It's exactly what it is. Or as soon as Andy Walker and Ian Crocker want to wank each other off while they're watching a Rangers game, it's all down to that. But there must be at least a monitor. Like every stadium should be supplied with a monitor and a camera. Well, obviously there's going to be cameras there because everybody's doing their own TV now, so there's cameras there. There might not be 100 different angles like there is in England, but there's going to be enough angles. As we've seen from the replays of the Kemar Roofe incident after the match, there is different angles that can be shown, and there should be a 5th official, if you like, sitting watching the monitors, seeing the different angles and going like that to him. You might want to go and have a look at that. Something along the lines of that. There must be something else that we can do, not just, we'll just need to put it to a compliance officer, because refs are guessing. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he's not seen that booking, if he's not seen that tackle properly, and just gave a booking, then he's guessed. He's guessed that it's a booking. That's not really the way that we should be doing it. So we either do something that's actually going to work, or we just get rid of it altogether and just decide that the referee is the referee, end of story. But I've been reading that there's places like is it Malta? I've got VAR, like Malta's league, and I'm like, how can Malta's league be bigger than Scottish Football's league? And that's me not living in like the small country syndrome. I'm being genuinely serious there. I'm not sure I could name many Malta players or Malta teams for that matter, but
Do we not have
yeah,
a Maltese boy that used to play with us?
did we
Yeah,
name him?
Bierman, aye.
Bierman. Well, aye. Bierman. Oh, he wasn't great. I got a wee shiver there. Thinking about that though. Anyway, but yeah. So as I say, we still don't know the outcome of it, so we're not actually sure if he's it's going to be rescinded or not, or it's going to be a 2-match ban for Roofe. So we'll just need to wait and see. No doubt, as soon as we upload this, it's going to be out, and everything we've just spoke about. I suppose it's not going to be null and void because we were allowed to have a say on it all, but I'll go along with I don't think it's going to get overturned, and I think Rangers are just doing this to try and make a bit of a point. So we will leave that there, and we'll move on to our next game. So Rangers will take on Kilmarnock this Saturday, the 13th of February at 3 p.m. kick-off at Ibrox. So Kilmarnock have obviously recently appointed ex-St Johnstone manager Tommy Wright as their manager. He took over on Monday, so we'll be looking for a bit of a reaction from them. They are sitting 10th and have not won a point in the league since the 2nd of January. We've won both games this season against them, 2-0 at Ibrox and 1-0 at Rugby Park. So, Ali, what's your initial thoughts on the game? What are you expecting from Kilmarnock?
Well, I actually sat and watched Kilmarnock play Celtic. When was it last week, I think? And I honestly thought they were probably one of the worst teams I've seen this season, Kilmarnock. They were absolutely rotten. But as soon as I found out Tommy Wright was coming in, I thought, no, I know exactly what he'll do. He'll organise them. I think Saturday could be a very, very frustrating game for us. I think Saturday could be very similar to the Motherwell game that we narrowly won a 3-1 win the last 10 minutes last year. I think it could be similar. I think they play tonight, Kilmarnock. I think they're at home to Motherwell, I think it is. So we'll find out possibly his personnel the way he's looking to play, but I think he'll come to Rangers and just try and look for a draw. I think he'll park a bus and we'll need to try and be patient and try and break that wall down because Tommy Wright is, that's what he's there for, is to come in and get them organised, because when I looked at Kilmarnock, they were definitely not organised. And Kilmarnock for years have been a bogey team for us, a right bogey team. So, no, I don't expect this game to be 3-4-0. I expect it to be quite a tight one for Rangers.
Yeah, I think Tommy Wright's obviously not the most glamorous of names, and if you're a Kilmarnock fan, you're probably a wee bit underwhelmed. Maybe not, I don't know, but he's definitely there to save them this season from going down and from and to kind of build for next season. I don't think it's. He knows what he's doing. He knows the Scottish game. I'm the same. I fully expect a back 5, back 6 kind of thing, and it's going to be one of them days, which is not what we need. But I suppose it's 8 games out of 10 in the SPFL will let us for us. So, Scotia, what's your thoughts ahead of the game on Saturday?
Yeah, similar to you guys. I caught a wee bit of the interview that Tommy Wright gave, and one of the things he said straight away is that he probably needs to get the squad overhauled and rebuilt, and do a rebuilding job. And he's kind of went back to the successes he's had previously with St Johnstone in terms of turning that squad over and getting them playing well again. But yeah, he did mention that Kilmarnock haven't been defending as well as they had been previously. So I can see an uber defensive display coming in, and all he's in there to do is allow them to survive the drop, really. So he'll be going. I mean, I don't think the Rangers game will be the key game for them in matters in terms of survival, but I still expect them to be quite stodgy, and it could be a long afternoon on Saturday with the way Tommy Wright speaking.
Yeah, I would agree, mate. And I suppose Michael O'Halloran will be chuffed because he's got a move in his hands, so he'll definitely sign for Kilmarnock in the summer. Got no doubt about that. But yeah, I say I'm not expecting a kind of a rout on Saturday, especially with the way Rangers have been playing. But it's all about 3 points. It's about performance really for us on Saturday. It's obviously about getting the 3 points, but I want a more of a convincing performance. Don't mind Rangers. Obviously, I don't mind Rangers playing bad and winning, what we've done, apart from against Johnstone and Motherwell, really. But just to put on a performance and still win the game, to look good, to look the part, to look like we're right back up for it again. I think it's really important for Rangers to come out and absolutely hit the ground running and look really, really good, even if the scoreline doesn't reflect our performance. I think it's still very important that we put a bit of a performance marker down for the rest of the season to say, right, you can sit in a back six if you want, but we're still going to beat you, and we're going to do it in a wee bit of style. So yeah, looking forward to it. It's been a long week, as we spoke about. As I say, only been passing the time with building snowmen, but we'll go with the starting 11s. What you think the starting 11's going to be? So I've made mine thinking that Roofe's not going to play because I think he'll probably be banned, and it'll be obviously this game as well. So my starting 11 will be McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Hollander, Barisic, Jack, Kamara, Aribo, Kent, Itten, and Hadji. So who wants to go next? Scott, you want to go?
Yeah, same back five. I wasn't sure if maybe Balogun comes in, gets a wee bit of game time before Europe, because I can see him making an appearance in one of either the away or home leg against Antwerp. So maybe just to give him a wee bit of game time. It's not on a plastic pitch. Like obviously it's at Ibrox, so it maybe highlights him maybe playing. Midfield, I've went Jack, Davis, or Rebo. But it wouldn't surprise me if it's Kamara's in there as well. But I think, yeah, you'll see Jack or Davis definitely starting. I've went a wee bit different up front. I think it'll be Kent. Probably be Itten, because I think Defoe's still coming back from that knock. So I don't see him playing in that. Yeah, as we've mentioned, I don't think Roofe will start because he'll lose his appeal. And I've got a wee feeling Scott Wright might start. It's at Ibrox, so it'd be a good chance to give him. Ibrox at 3 o'clock as well, a far better time for a game of football.
Yes.
Rather than 12 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon. But yeah, I could see him coming in.
Just as you mentioned that, I heard on the Heart and Hand podcast that every time we've dropped points has been a 12 o'clock kickoff this season.
4 out of 5, I think.
4 out of 5.
We had
on
that
a Sunday.
Game, one, yeah.
12 noon on a Sunday, we've dropped points. That's weird, that, isn't it? It's a bit strange. Must be something in that, though.
It's a horrible time for football. For fans, for players.
It's a dreadful time. I hate it, that on a Sunday, but yeah, I thought it was interesting. Sorry, Ali, you're starting 11.
Wee bit different to the rest of us. I'm going, obviously, Shagger, back 4 of Tav, Goldson. I'm bringing Balogun back in. I thought Hollander was a bit dodgy, but saying that, I don't think Hollander suits plastic pitches. Everything I've seen
plastic pitch.
Bounce with the ball, he just does. He can't read it. But I think Balogun will come back in. Barisic, my midfield 3. I think he'll go back to tried and trusted. I think it'll be Kamara, Davis, Jack in there. I don't like Aribo in that 3. I think he's wasted in the 3. I like Aribo wide right. So my top 3 is, I don't think he'll drop Kent. I think it'll be Kent. I would play Defoe if he's fit. I've got a feeling possibly not. We've not seen the presser yet. So if Defoe's there ready, I would play him, but I think it'll be Itten. And it'll be a Aribo wide right. Although Scotia with Wright, I was close to putting him in the team, but I'm just hoping Rangers could possibly go a few goals up and they can bring him on and get a good maybe 30 minutes in his legs at Ibrox.
We early goal in the second half, mate. Bring on Scott Wright, yeah.
I want an early goal in the first half. That's that one.
It's a shout for Wright to come in. I think. There's really any harm in trying. I'm reluctant to think that he's going to play Jack and Davis just purely the fact that we have Europe coming up, because I think they're obviously a cert to start. There has been rumours, and obviously with the way that Arfield has been progressing with his injury, he could possibly make the bench. I think if he's got any chance to play on Thursday night, then they probably have to try and get him on the bench on Saturday, sorry. So yeah, it could be him on the bench, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting team. It's going to be an interesting game, really, just to see how Rangers react. Obviously, this has probably been this and the St Mirren game, I think, is the kind of most gutted that I've been at a performance, and we still got a point out it. Do you know what I mean? But on Sunday, but after the St Mirren game, I was obviously in the League Cup. I was gutted, and well, not gutted. I was furious, and I was a wee bit angry on Sunday, I suppose, as well. But yeah, I think it's important for Rangers to just have a reaction, just come out, play your football the way we know we can play football, and just turn up, just get off the bus and play football. That's all we can ask for. So score predictions. Scotia, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I think we'll be 2-0. We'll win, but it's I never like predicting results, particularly when a new manager comes into the opposing team, because you just don't know how they're going to play. But I'll go 2-0.
Yeah, as we obviously record this and we can see each other while we're recording, and both Ali's just shook his head and I've shook my head, so I'm presuming we've all put 2-0. Yeah, so yeah, 2-0. I think it will be 2-0. I think it could be one of them games where I can see it being 0-0 at half time. I really can. I can see it. And then I know you just made score. I know both of you just made the face at me, but I can see it being 0-0 at half time, and I can see the changes again making the difference for Rangers. But yeah, 2-0, 3 points, and a good performance, a good solid performance is what we are after. So yeah, that will do us for today, gentlemen. Any news on Kemar Roofe before I start?
I think I've just seen a few tweets saying over to you, Big Said, Tremendo Hendo 72 on Twitter has just put out. So I don't know if that means it's not going through.
Big Raman Bajwaj, whatever you call him, for STV's just Kemar Roofe banned for Rangers next 2 games after being found guilty. So that's what we expect.
There's a surprise. Well, that's quite good actually. Now it's right at the end of the pod. It means we can keep that in. So yeah, just at the end of this, as you've just heard Ali saying there, it's been confirmed that Roofe is banned for 2 games. So it will probably be Itten if Defoe's not fully fit anyway. So that'll be confirmed. The team news will be confirmed, or the squad update, if you like, will be confirmed on Friday at the presser before the game. So yeah, not really a shock, really. Kemar Roofe, there's nothing really else to add to that, is there, boys? So yeah, we'll leave it there. We'll wrap it up. Just before I go, so we are delighted to announce that Club at 22 will be making our debut on the True Blues Loyal live podcast on YouTube tomorrow night, which is the 11th of February at 8 p.m. So absolutely buzzing for this. Thank you to Jamesy for having us on. It will be me making my debut on that, so you can come and check me out, probably sitting there shaking like a shitting dog. But in all seriousness, please come and check it out. As you say, it'll be live, 8 p.m. on YouTube. Just search for True Blues Loyal and it will pop up. So, Ali, thank you very much for your time today, mate, and back on Saturday with 3 points, hopefully.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. A wee 3 o'clock on a Saturday, so no, I'm looking forward to it. Maybe a couple of beers as well, so aye. A couple of beers and 3 points, that's all I'm asking for.
Amen. Scotia, thank you very much, mate.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
So yeah, we are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. We will be back, as I said, on Saturday with an immediate match reaction pod after the game. So we'll speak to you all then. Thank you all for listening and speak to you on Saturday. Cheers.